the government's proposal for a national service?
They don't support it either. It's a joke, isn't it? I mean, look, what you do, you get a focus group of half a dozen reform voters in a room, and the chairman says, now, what about national service? Oh, I think it's a very good idea. The rest say, yeah, actually, not a bad idea. Oh, policy. So, I mean, look, when you're a weak leader, and Sunak is not a leader in any way at all, you're a follower. So you follow what the focus groups say, and you say, by doing this, I can attack the reform vote. That's what it's all about. And look, it's totally impractical. The army has shrunk from 100,000 to 75,000 in 14 years of conservatism. And most interestingly, we have a growing number of young people in this country who do not subscribe to British values, in fact, loathe much of what we stand for. So what do you do?
Who are we talking about there?
Oh, I think we see them on the streets of London every Saturday.
What do they look like? Oh, we're talking about...
What do they look like?
Are we talking about Muslims here?
We are. And I'm afraid I found some of the recent surveys.
Recently, Nigel Farage has been vocal in expressing strong opinions on Muslim immigration in the UK, alleging that a growing number of young Muslims do not align with what he defines as British values. His comments, which he has repeatedly shared through platforms like GB News and during interviews, argue that certain immigrant communities, especially Muslims, contribute to societal divisions in the UK. He has emphasized this viewpoint in recent media interactions, sparking both significant support and backlash from various public figures and news outlets. Farage's remarks, however, have drawn controversy for what many see as inflammatory rhetoric. This has led to criticism from news hosts and journalists who challenged him over claims that paint a broad picture of Muslims as resistant to integration. Sky News host Trevor Phillips, among others, confronted Farage, pointing out that the portrayal of Muslims in this manner fuels stereotypes and raises concerns about media impartiality. In response, Farage stood by his comments, asserting that his views reflect genuine concerns among parts of the British public over the integration of immigrant communities. The debate has ignited wider conversations about Islamophobia in British media, with some critics arguing that figures like Farage are given too much freedom to broadcast divisive views on mainstream platforms. This ongoing discourse has raised questions about media responsibility and impartiality. The BBC, for instance, faced its own controversy after a journalist called Farage's comments customary inflammatory language, which led the network to apologize for breaching impartiality rules. This incident highlights the complexities faced by media outlets in covering immigration and integration topics in ways that balance free speech with a commitment to prevent the normalization of prejudiced views. Such incidents underscore a tension within British media between freedom of expression and the potential for reinforcing divisive perspectives, especially in the lead-up to elections where public figures' rhetoric can heavily influence voter sentiments. These discussions continue to spark debate about what constitutes appropriate discourse and the responsibilities of media platforms in promoting balanced coverage.